The Galactic Council Hall was the most important place in the universe. It was built inside a giant moon that floated quietly around a golden star in neutral space. The hall was round, bright, and filled with different species from hundreds of planets. Some looked like lizards, others like birds, some had 6 arms, and some floated instead of walking. Today was special. A new member was joining the Galactic Council, Earth, but not everyone was happy about it. They're just apes with tools. One tall insect-like alien whispered to another. Let them join, said a gray-skinned warrior with red eyes. At least we'll have someone to laugh at. The room was filled with low chuckles and grins. For years, Earth had sent weak signals, traded small resources, and asked too many questions. Their ships were slow, their weapons old, and their tech far behind other planets. Many believed humans were peaceful because they were helpless. Then, the door opened. Earth's official representative walked in. He was a middle-aged man named Nil Ward. He wore a simple black suit, no armor, no weapons. His face was calm, his steps steady. He didn't look nervous, though thousands of alien eyes stared at him with judgment. Danil stood in the center of the room, bowed slightly, and spoke. On behalf of the planet Earth and the human race, I thank the Council for welcoming us. A tall alien with glowing blue scales stepped forward. Her name was Morella, the chair of the council. We welcome you, Representative Ward, she said with a polite smile. But many here wonder, what can your people offer? Your ships are outdated, your weapons are basic, and your science is slow. More laughter followed. Danil remained silent. He didn't smile. He didn't argue. He simply said, we come in peace. We believe peace is the first sign of wisdom. The laughter grew louder. A 3-eyed creature from the Malkari race raised a hand and said loudly, tell us, human, if your planet was attacked, would you defend it with farming tools? Danil looked at him, his face still calm. We would defend it with everything we have. That made the room fall quiet for a moment. There was something strange in his voice, not loud, not angry, but heavy. Still, the moment passed. The meeting continued. Papers were signed. Earth was given a small seat at the far edge of the council. They had no voting rights yet, just the chance to observe and speak. Later that day, in a secret chamber, deep under the council hall, Danil sat in front of a small silver device. He pressed a button. The room dimmed, and a screen lit up. On it appeared a woman with sharp eyes and short gray hair. She was President Alira, leader of the Earth's Shadow Command, a group unknown to the rest of the galaxy. We're watching the broadcast, she said. They're mocking us, again. Danil nodded. They believe what we want them to believe. Good. Alira replied. Maintain the act, no emotion, no hint. They must never suspect the truth. Danil leaned forward. Phase 2. Not yet, Alira said. Keep listening. Let them laugh. It helps the lie grow. The screen went dark. Danil leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. He remembered the first time Earth had contacted an alien race 50 years ago. At that time, humanity had just ended its own world wars, united under one global system, and created the Shadow Command to deal with the stars. The Council had sent a probe to scan Earth. Instead of showing real strength, Earth's leaders agreed on one thing. Hide it all. Every powerful satellite was shut down. The best warships were sent deep underwater. The smartest AI systems were stored inside frozen vaults. Earth showed only what they wanted the galaxy to see, a curious, slow-moving, peaceful species. For 50 years, the plan worked. They were ignored, mocked, dismissed. And in secret, Earth watched, Earth learned. Now, Danil was here, not as a weak man begging for a seat, but as the quiet face of a planet that had fooled the galaxy. As the council meeting ended, Danil walked down the shining halls, past guards, cameras, and alien statues. He felt no fear. Behind his calm eyes, he counted every weapon in the room, noted every entry point, and memorized every alien's posture and voice. Back in his room, he opened a small case. Inside it was a smooth black sphere. He tapped it twice. A blue hologram rose in the air, showing Earth's current secret force positions. Hundreds of cloaked ships, thousands of satellites hidden inside space dust, defense towers buried in moons, and something else, a new signal from the outer rim. Unknown movement, unusual speed, possible threat. Danil smiled slightly. Let them come, he whispered. Let them all come. Outside his window, the stars blinked like silent witnesses. The galaxy still thought Earth was weak, but the lie had worked for 5 decades. And it wasn't over yet. A week after Earth's quiet entry into the Galactic Council, a message was sent from the War Games Committee. Every year, the Council held a special event, a large virtual war simulation to test military strength, tactics, and teamwork. It was considered an honor to participate, though the real purpose was to show off power and dominance. This year, Earth was invited. Most members thought it was a joke. They should bring farming tools and hope for peace. One alien joked they might accidentally shoot themselves, said another. But Danil Ward, Earth's representative, replied without hesitation, Earth accepts. He said it calmly, without smiling. The council members looked at each other, surprised. Some even whispered, "Do they understand what this means?" Danil only nodded once. "We understand very well." The war simulation was not a simple game. It was designed by the best minds in the galaxy. It looked and felt like a real war, with giant landscapes, moving armies, fighter ships, and ground units. Every species brought their best soldiers, commanders, and strategies. Earth, however, brought a small group, less than 50 soldiers. Their weapons looked outdated. Their uniforms were plain. The team was led by Captain Mira, a quiet woman with sharp green eyes. The council placed Earth on a team with 2 other weak species, the Mornons, who only used sound weapons, and the Zerki, who had a history of retreating early. They were against a team made of strong warlike species, including the Draloks, Tenari, and Velkans, all known for their brutal power and advanced tech. Before the battle started, the other teams laughed. "This will be over in 5 minutes. Don't blink, or you'll miss their defeat." The war simulation began. From the very first moment, Earth's team appeared uncoordinated. Their ships moved slowly. Their ground soldiers made mistakes. They lost small objectives quickly and failed to hold their ground. The council watched with amusement from the giant screen in the main hall. "They truly are useless," said Councillor Varn from the Dralox race. "Let's hope they don't trip over their own feet," added Morella with a grin. But deep inside Earth's control center, far away in a secret base under the Pacific Ocean, the real team watched everything with careful eyes. Every move was being recorded. Every tactic was being analyzed. Danil stood in the command room, arms crossed, eyes locked on the screen. "Did the drones get into place?" he asked. A technician replied, "Yes, sir. All 72 nano drones are active, scanning every weapon signature, battle code, and formation." Another added, "We are recording their communication signals. We've cracked the Tenari battle language." Danil gave a single nod. "Good. Keep the mask on. No sudden movements. Let them laugh." Back in the simulation, Captain Mira gave quiet orders through a neural link. "Unit 7, drop your gun and pretend confusion. Unit 3, overheat the engine. Smoke only. Unit 1, retreat fast. Draw attention." Her voice was calm. Her soldiers obeyed without question. Each action looked like a mistake, but it wasn't. Each failure gave Earth more time to observe. More data, more secrets. By the end of the match, Earth's team was wiped out. The audience clapped and laughed. Danil stood silently at the edge of the room. One alien approached him, a warrior named Zern from the Velkans. "Perhaps next year you can bring your real army," Zern said with a mocking smile. Danil simply replied, "Perhaps." Later that night, Zern sat alone, thinking. Something about the Earth team bothered him. He watched the replay of the simulation again. Too many things felt. Plan. One soldier ran into enemy fire in a straight line and survived longer than expected. Another let her weapon explode, but only after the enemy had surrounded her. The ship crashes. The overheated engines. All of it felt too perfect to be real mistakes. Zern was not just a warrior. He was also a historian. He had read old reports from first contact with Earth decades ago. Strange patterns. Ships disappearing without explanation. Enemies defeated by unknown causes. But no one ever followed up. Zur and decided he would. Meanwhile, Danil returned to his private room on the Council Moon. He activated his communicator. A hologram appeared showing Earth's President Alira again. They performed well, Alira said. Danil nodded. No suspicion. And we learned a lot. He showed her the files, weapon data, command structures, communication methods, and even emotional reactions of different alien soldiers under pressure, all gathered in one simulation. Danil added, and they gave it to us freely. Alira leaned forward. The Viscari Empire is moving again. Their ships were spotted near the edge of neutral space. Danil's expression grew colder. Then let them come. We'll be ready. Alira gave one final order. Maintain the image. The longer they believe the lie, the stronger our truth becomes. The screen went dark again. Danil turned to the window. He looked at the stars, quiet and peaceful. They all believed Earth was weak. But Earth had watched for 50 years, and it never blinked. Zern couldn't sleep. The Velkon warrior sat alone in his quarters, surrounded by glowing screens. The mock battle had ended hours ago, but something about the Earth team's actions still bothered him. It wasn't just the way they lost, it was how they lost. The mistakes looked perfect. To rehearse, he ran the simulation video again, frame by frame. One Earth soldier, before being killed, had tossed her broken weapon at an enemy's shield. At first glance, it looked like a useless move. But in slow motion, Zern saw it. The device released a small spark of static energy, just strong enough to interfere with the shield for a second. Why did that? Unless they were testing. Zern leaned forward. He opened old files from the councils. Archive records of Earth's first contact, trade logs, tech reviews, even old diplomatic conversations. Most of it was simple, almost boring. But then he found something strange, a battle report from 42 years ago. A pirate group had attacked an Earth cargo ship near the asteroid belt. The report said the Earth ship escaped, but the pirate group, known for raiding dozens of planets, had never been seen again. No battle wreckage, no distress signal, just silence. Zern pulled up another report, this one from 36 years ago. A scout ship from the Dralox Empire had flown too close to Earth's orbit without warning. The last message received was, "Unknown signal detected. We're losing power." That scout ship had also disappeared. Why didn't anyone question this? Because Earth was considered weak. Everyone believed it. Maybe they wanted to believe it, but not Zern. Elsewhere on the Council Moon, Danil Ward stood inside a secure room. The walls were lined with black metal, and the lights glowed a soft blue. In the center was a table with holographic projections, maps of the galaxy, data streams, and alien fleet movements. Danil wasn't alone. Beside him stood Terran, one of Earth's silent field analysts. Disguised as a simple council translator. Taren spoke first. "Zern is digging." Danil nodded. Slowly, expected. "He's sharp. Maybe too sharp. Should we block his access?" Danil shook his head. "No. Let him keep looking. But guide what he finds." Terran raised an eyebrow. "Guide." Danil tapped on the screen. A new file appeared, partially real, partially false. "We feed him just enough truth to lead him down a safe path, not too close, not too far." Terran understood. "He sees smoke, but no fire." Danil replied calmly, "Exactly." Zern, meanwhile, requested permission to visit Earth. It was unusual. The Council rarely allowed such visits without long approvals. But Zern was respected. He used a diplomatic excuse, cultural research. And within 2 days, permission was granted. Danil knew about it the moment the request was sent. Earth prepared quietly when Zern's ship entered Earth's orbit. He was greeted by a small transport vehicle. Inside was a human woman with dark brown hair and a sharp expression. Her name was Agent Kira, and she introduced herself as a science guide. Zern, always observant, noticed she moved like a soldier, firm steps, straight posture, always. Watching, they flew over Earth's green forests, cities, and oceans. Everything looked peaceful. Normal. But Zern wasn't here for the surface. "I'd like to visit your research stations," he said. "Of course," Kira replied with a polite smile. She took him to a large science center in northern Canada. Inside, humans worked on farming tech, weather models, and communication tools. Zern studied everything carefully. He touched devices, asked deep questions, even took samples. Everything looked simple, ordinary, but something was missing. The feeling. Zern had been in hundreds of labs across the galaxy. There was always a certain kind of energy, the presence of high-level research, risk, and breakthrough. Here, everything felt too clean. The slow dot like a show dot at night. Zern stood near a window in his guest room. He looked out at the stars. Earth was calm, silent, watching. Then he noticed something strange. A bird flew across the sky, but suddenly turned at a perfect 90-degree angle without slowing. No creature in the galaxy moved like that. Zern zoomed in with his personal lens. The bird had a small mechanical tail and no wings. It wasn't a bird. It was a drone, and it had just scanned his room. Zern's eyes narrowed. The next day, he requested a visit to Earth's oldest satellite base, one that hadn't been used in over 30 years. It was in the middle of a desert, abandoned, dusty. But when they arrived, Zern saw fresh tracks in the sand, footprints, vehicle marks. "This place is not empty," he said. Kira responded quickly. "We use it for training sometimes." "Nothing serious." Zern didn't answer. Instead, he walked up to the building. The front doors were locked, but his hand scanner beeped. There was power inside. Kira stepped in front of him. "I'm sorry, counselor. That area is restricted." Zern looked her in the eye. "I'm a guest, not a fool." She didn't move. Her face remained calm, but her hand was close to her belt, where she likely kept a signal device or weapon. After a few tense seconds, Zern turned away. He didn't want to fight, not now, but he had seen enough. Later, as he left Earth, he looked down at the planet from his ship, peaceful, green, silent. But behind that silence, he now felt something different, a storm. He opened his personal log and began recording a private message. "To High Command, I believe Earth is not what it appears to be. Their weakness may be a mass. I request permission to begin deeper investigation. This may change everything." He sent the message. Seconds later, the screen flashed, signal delayed. "Possible block detected." Zern stared at the screen. "They're watching me already," he whispered. He didn't smile, but deep inside, he felt something strange. Excitement. Zern returned to the Galactic Council moon 2 days after his visit to Earth. On the surface, he looked calm, professional, and focused, as always. But deep inside, his thoughts were racing. He had seen too many strange things on Earth. Hidden power lines under an abandoned base, drones disguised as birds, and labs that felt like performances. Most of all, he felt a presence, not fear, but control. Earth wasn't scared. It was careful. He knew now. Earth was hiding something. And Zern wanted to know what. Inside the Council Moon's data chamber, he began his next move. The room was quiet, filled with floating screens and glowing data blocks. Only Council members had full access here, and Zern used his warrior rank to open secure files. He started with Earth's early contact records again, but now he used filters. He searched not for what was reported, but for what was missing. He found communication gaps, delayed messages, and sensor reports that were strangely edited. He even found an old report from a spy satellite that was meant to scan Earth's oceans 20 years ago. The image file was blank, blacked out, with a small note, "Image damaged during transfer." But the satellite had never failed before, and never failed after. Zern leaned back and whispered, "This is not damage. This is a cover." He marked the file. Then he did something dangerous. He accessed the Red Zone, a part of the Council's digital archive that held private messages between high leaders. Most Council members didn't dare enter it, but Zern used a forgotten code from an old battle commander he once served under. The system paused, then opened. Inside, he found something unexpected. A message, dated 12 years ago, from a Tenari. General to the Council Chair. Request denied. Earth may appear simple, but the patterns don't match. I recommend we delay deeper contact until we fully understand their hidden tech. Their satellites do not behave like ours. Their silences are too exact. I believe they're watching us. There was no reply to this message. It was simply marked classified. No further action needed. Zern stared at the screen for a long time. Then he copied the file to his private recorder and left the room quietly. He was getting close. At the same time, far away on Earth, Danil stood in a dark control room inside the Arctic base. A cold wind howled outside, but inside, the air was still. He was watching a live feed of Zern's activities. Age and Kira stood beside him, arms crossed. He's in the red zone, she said. He broke into it with an old warrior key. Danil nodded. He's smart, but too early. Kira frowned. Should we block him? Danil didn't answer immediately. He watched Zern's face on the screen, focused, serious. Calculating. He's looking for the truth, Danil said. Let him find just enough. The others still think we're weak. Let him be the only one who doubts. That helps us. Kira looked surprised. You want him to keep digging? Danil replied. Yes, as long as he stays in the lines we draw. But Zern was already thinking beyond the lines. Later that night, he met secretly with a friend, Rello, a quiet engineer from the Malkari race. Rello trusted Zern more than anyone. Zern spoke in a low voice. I need help. I want to build a hidden scanner to detect stealth tech. I think Earth is using systems we can't see. Rello frowned. That's dangerous. If the Council finds out, they won't. Zern cut in. I'll take the risk. Just help me with the design. Rello hesitated, then slowly nodded. While Zern worked in secret, Earth prepared its next step. President Alira met with Earth's highest shadow council deep inside an underwater facility. 10 men and women sat around a table made of black crystal. Holograms showed the movement of alien fleets, council plans, and whispers of the Viscari Empire spreading again. They still think we're small, said one officer. They think we fear them, said another. Alira raised her hand. Let them keep thinking that, but we must prepare. She pointed to a glowing map. The Viscari are moving, and soon they will strike. Danil's hologram appeared in the center of the table. He spoke calmly. Zern is close to learning the truth. Should we stop him? Someone asked. Danil shook his head. No, we may need him. When the time comes, he can speak for us and show them that Earth was never weak. Alira nodded. Begin Phase 3. If the Viscari attack, we don't wait. Everyone agreed. Back on the council moon, Zern finished building his hidden scanner. It was small, silent, and shaped like a silver coin. He hid it inside a panel in the council's main hall, the place where Danil and the other members met often. He didn't know exactly what he was looking for, but he believed something was there. 2 days later, the scanner picked up something. At first, it looked like a glitch, a strange wave pattern moving across the room, invisible to the naked eye. But then it happened again. A ripple of energy, silent, smooth, artificial. Zern matched the wave to old tech patterns and froze. It was Earth tech. And not just normal tech, stealth cloaking, the kind used by only the most advanced races. But Earth wasn't supposed to have this. Zern realized Earth had cloaked devices inside the council hall itself. They were watching everyone. He quickly shut off the scanner and removed the device. He knew this had gone too far, but it was too late to stop now. Zern returned to his private quarters. He opened a secure file and began to write a message to all major council leaders. I no longer believe Earth is weak. I have seen signs of hidden weapons, cloak tech, and strategic silence. We have been watching Earth, but I believe Earth has been watching us. He stopped. His finger hovered over the send button. He looked out the window. Stars shining in endless space. Then, for the first time, he felt something he had never felt before in battle. Not fear. Respect. He didn't send the message. Not yet. Far across the galaxy, beyond the council's borders, a dark fleet moved through empty space. The Viscari Empire had returned. For years, they had stayed quiet, licking their wounds after their last defeat. But now, the new leader, Emperor Tovak, was ready to strike. His voice echoed inside the black command ship. Begin with the outer colonies. Make it fast. No survivors. The Viscari ships were sharp and silent. Shaped like flying blades, their weapons didn't explode. They erased. Entire planets went dark without warning, their cities turning to dust. The Galactic Council was caught off guard. No warnings, no demands, just destruction. Back at the Council moon, a red alert spread through the halls. Species from across the galaxy gathered in fear and confusion. Morella, the Council chair, stood at the center. The Viscari have already taken 3 colonies, she announced. We must respond now, or more worlds will fall. The room was filled with shouting. Plans were made quickly, but there was little unity. Some blamed the Council for relaxing after peace. Some demanded stronger weapons, but no one had a clear answer. Then, Danil Ward stepped forward, Earth's representative, the one they still believed was weak. He spoke calmly. Earth volunteers to send a support fleet. The room went quiet. Then, a few chuckles rose. You? A red-skinned alien said. With what? Your toy ships? Danil didn't reply. He simply nodded once. Our ships are ready, Zern, standing nearby, didn't laugh. He narrowed his eyes. He had been watching Earth closely, and he had seen enough to know this wasn't a joke. Danil returned to his private room. The moment the door shut, the wall opened, revealing a hidden control screen. He tapped it. A voice answered, Shadow Command active. Awaiting orders. Sun Fleet Echo. No Council markings. Full stealth mode. Clear the Viscari from Sector 12. Yes, sir. Then he added, make it silent. No noise. No trace. The screen faded. Hours later, in the dark corner of Sector 12, the Viscari attacked a mining outpost belonging to the Mornin species. They expected no resistance. Only weak miners and old defense drones. But something was waiting. The Viscari flagship scanned the area. Nothing showed up. Then, a whisper, a pulse of light. And suddenly, one of the Viscari ships vanished. No explosion, no sound, just gone. Then another. Then a third. Panic spread through the Viscari fleet. They tried to scan again. Nothing. Invisible forces moved between them. They shot in all directions, but hit nothing. In less than 5 minutes, 20 Viscari warships were gone. The rest fled, leaving behind wreckage and questions. The next day, the Council received a report the Viscari had failed to take Sector 12. Survivors from the mining colonies said they had seen black shapes moving like shadows, faster than light. No one knew what saved them. Danil stood at the edge of the meeting room, silent. Zern spoke this time. Who was responsible for the defense? Morella answered, unknown. No Council fleet reported action. Zern turned to Danil. Danil said, only one word, luck. Some smiled. Others nodded. But Zern didn't believe it. He remembered the old Earth files. He remembered the cloaked drones. And now, the silence in Sector 12. He left the meeting quietly. Zern went to his private lab. He replayed a small clip sent by a mining drone. It had captured only a few seconds of movement. A black shape like a spear moving between the stars, faster than any ship Zern had ever seen. He zoomed in. There was no symbol, no flag, just a smooth hole with a tiny mark, 3 circles in a triangle shape. Zern paused. He had seen that shape once, on Earth, inside a sealed room. It was Earth's shadow fleet. He now understood. Earth had acted, but not for glory, not for praise. Earth had acted in secret, again, and it had won. Later, Zern met with Danil privately. They stood in a quiet garden on the edge of the Council moon, stars above them. Zern didn't waste time. It was you? Danil said nothing. Zern stepped closer. Your ships, your strike. Only Earth is tech like that. I saw the mark. Danil still didn't answer. Zern frowned. Why hide it? You saved lives. Danil finally spoke. Because the galaxy is not ready for the truth. Zern asked. And what truth is that? Danil looked up at the stars. That Earth is not weak. That we chose silence. That we've been preparing for 50 years. While they laughed, Zern took a deep breath. Why show me this much? Why let me see the truth? Danil turned to him. Because we need one voice. Someone they will listen to. When the time comes, the galaxy must choose unity or destruction. Zern asked, and what happens if they choose wrong? Danil's eyes turned cold. Then Earth will protect itself, no matter the cost, on the far edge of known space. Emperor Tovak of the Viscari watched the failure report with anger. His best ships had vanished. His enemies had grown bold. He turned to his war council. Find who did this. And when you do, burn them. But Earth was already moving deep under the Atlantic Ocean. Inside a base that no alien had ever seen, President Alira stood before a large round table. Above it floated a map, with blinking red marks showing the scary movements. Alira spoke firmly. The game is over. They will strike harder. The council is not ready. She looked around. The question is, are we? A soldier answered, Shadow Fleets Alpha and Echo are on standby. Drones in all major council cities are live. Alira nodded. Then we wait, not for war, but for the moment they realize the lie. She looked at the stars on the screen. They laughed for 50 years. Her voice was steady. Soon, they'll understand. The council chamber was unusually quiet. After the surprise victory in Sector 12, every member sat with tense expressions. Many were confused. Some were curious. A few were scared. Chairwoman Marilla stepped forward. We still do not know which force stopped the Viscari, but the threat is growing. We must uncover the truth. She looked around the room. Whoever defended Sector 12, they are not ordinary. Zern leaned forward. We need answers, not guesses. If someone among us holds secret power, we deserve to know. Many agreed. All eyes turned to Danil Ward. The Earth representative stayed calm. He had been silent long enough. He stood up slowly, and this time he spoke. 50 years ago, Danil began. Earth made a choice. The chamber listened closely. We watched other species grow strong, build weapons, fight wars. And while they laughed at us, we stayed silent, not because we were weak, but because we were planning something bigger. He paused. We hid. Our strength. Gasps spread across the room. Marilla asked, What are you saying, Danil? I'm saying. He replied that Earth is not what you think. A red-scaled general shouted. Are you threatening the council? Danil shook his head. No, we're offering protection. But you must understand, we cannot let the Viscari destroy everything. Zern stood beside him. Earth saved lives in Sector 12. Whether you believe it or not, I've seen the signs. We must work together or lose everything. Marilla took a deep breath. Very well. The council requests Earth to reveal its capabilities. No secrets. No lies. Danil nodded, but inside, he knew Earth would reveal only what it wanted. Back on Earth, deep under the Atlantic Ocean, President Alira watched the council meeting on a large screen. She smiled slightly. It's time, she said. Her military advisor asked, How much should we show? Just enough, she answered. Let them see the tip of the iceberg. Let them think they understand. He nodded. Then he gave the order. All shadow units, prepare for reveal. 1 week later, a council fleet arrived in Earth's orbit. It was led by 3 large ships and carried observers from 15 different species. They expected a quiet planet. They expected simple technology. Instead, they saw something else. A massive door opened in Earth's ocean, and a floating city rose from the waves, towers made of silver metal, drones flying in perfect patterns, defense lines drawn like an invisible shield. The visitors were silent. Earth had kept this hidden for decades. The lead observer, a pale blue creature named Harlan, whispered, This is impossible. Danil smiled. Welcome to one of our forward bases. Not even our main station. Then, Earth's stealth fleet flew overhead. Black ships, sharp and quiet, moving like shadows. One council officer asked, How do we never see this? Danil answered, because you never looked close enough. The council returned with footage, reports, and questions. Now, the galaxy knew Earth was not weak. Some admired it, some feared it, and others, like Emperor Tovak of the Visceri, became angry. He slammed his hand on the table. They've been hiding strength under our noses. I want Earth destroyed. His advisor warned him. Attacking Earth now may cost more than we expect. Tovak growled. Then we strike where? It hurts. He pointed to a map. Council stations. They're allies. We cut the legs before the head. The Visceri prepared for war. Back at the council moon, debate raged on. Some wanted Earth to lead a defense force. Others believed Earth was too dangerous to trust. Zurn tried to speak reason. Earth has already proven itself. Without them, Sector 12 would be gone. But the room was divided. Then Mirella made a bold move. I propose we give Earth temporary command of a joint fleet. Let them lead. If they succeed, we accept them as full partners. Gasps echoed. The vote was close. But the result came through. Earth was in command. President Alira received the message on her command screen. She stared at the words, Earth granted. Leadership of Galactic Defense Fleet. She turned to her generals. We waited 50 years. Now we move. One of them asked, what's our first move? She gave a simple answer. Send a warning to the Visceri. Let them know Earth sees everything now. A week later, just as the Visceri prepared to strike a council communication hub, their ship stopped mid-flight. Something had entered their space. One by one, their scanners showed the same signal, an Earth ship, alone. The Visceri laughed. Just one? They moved in for attack. But then, 10 more ships appeared. Then 50. Then hundreds, all black. All silent. No sound. No message. Then one voice, through all Visceri speakers. This is Earth. You are trespassing. Turn back or be removed. The Visceri fleet opened fire. For a moment, the stars lit up with light and heat. Then it went quiet. The Earth fleet moved through the smoke like wind through trees. Visceri ships vanished, one after another. And when the light cleared, only Earth ships remained. Not a single loss, not a single sound. The footage was sent across the galaxy. And now, everyone knew Earth was not weak. Earth had never been weak. They had been silent, by choice. Now, the galaxy watched with new eyes, some with hope. Some with fear, but all with respect. As Danil stood on the balcony of the council moon, he watched the stars in silence. Zurn joined him. You've shown them the truth, Zurn said. Danil nodded. Only part of it? Zurn asked. Will you show the rest? Danil answered softly. Only if they force us to. Zurn looked worried. What else are you hiding? Danil turned toward him. Enough to win any war. But Earth doesn't want war. We want peace, true peace. One where no one laughs at the weak again. Zurn smiled slowly. Then maybe. It's time the galaxy stops laughing. Danil looked back to the stars. They already have. The galaxy was no longer the same. After Earth's fleet destroyed the Visceri warships without a single loss, the balance of power shifted. Rumors spread quickly. Some said Earth had secret weapons beyond understanding. Others whispered that humans had made a deal with ancient powers. But Danil Ward, Earth's ambassador, said only one thing. We were patient. Now, we act. The Visceri Empire was furious. Emperor Tovak sat in his throne room, staring at the screen where Earth's victory played over and over. How? He growled. How could we fall so easily? His top advisor, General Voron, replied. Their technology is advanced, but more than that, they planned for this moment. Tovak clenched his fist. They think they can scare us? No, Your Majesty, Voron replied. They already did. But Tovak was not ready to give up. Prepare the Omega device. If Earth wants war, we'll burn everything. Voron hesitated. But if we use that weapon, the galaxy may turn against us. Tovak's eyes burned with anger. Then let them come. We will crush them all. Meanwhile, at Earth's hidden base in orbit, President Alira met with the Galactic Council leaders. Mirella, chairwoman of the council, stood at the front of the room. Her voice was serious. Earth has earned its place, she said. But we still face danger. The Viscari won't stop unless we end this war. Alira looked around. Then we give them no reason to continue. The others listened closely. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy, she said. We only want peace. But to protect peace, we must finish this. Zern stood beside her and added, we must strike before the Viscari use their secret weapon. We've confirmed something, called the Omega device. It could destroy entire star systems. A silence filled the room. Alira nodded. Then we go now. We won't let them use it. Earth's ships moved quickly. This time, it wasn't just a small fleet. It was the Earth Core Armada, ships that had never been seen before. Giant carriers, invisible destroyers, pulse cannons. Human soldiers trained in zero-gravity combat, enhanced by neural tech. They didn't attack carelessly. They moved like a machine, quiet, sharp, and with purpose. The Council sent support. Even species that once laughed at Earth now followed its lead. The target, Viscari Prime. The heart of the Empire died above Viscari Prime. The sky turned dark as Earth's armada appeared. The Viscari defense stations opened fire immediately. Earth didn't fire back. Not at first. Instead, they released something else. The Ghost Protocol. Small devices flew from Earth ships and shut down Viscari systems one by one. Shields dropped. Weapons failed. Lights went out. The Viscari panicked. Then the warning came. Stand down. This is your final chance. Tovak refused. He activated the Omega device. A huge structure rose from under the surface of the planet, glowing with unstable energy. The scary scientists shouted warnings. It's not ready. It could destroy us all. But Tovak didn't care. I will not lose to Earth. He pressed the final code. On Earth's main ship, the signal lit up. The Omega device is active, a technician said. Alira turned to her commander. Time to. And this, a single black ship flew toward the planet. It carried no weapons. No shields. Just one man. Commander Yelen Cross, a legend on Earth. The man who trained in Earth's first Shadow program. He had one mission, to shut down the Omega device. Yelen moved through Viscari space like a shadow. Alarms screamed, but he was already past them. Inside the Omega device, guards fell one by one. Not killed, but stunned. He reached the core chamber and looked at the glowing engine. It was overloading. He tapped into Earth's satellite. This is Cross. I've reached the core. It's unstable. Can you shut it down? Alira asked. He smiled. I didn't come this far to fail. He placed a small cube near the device. Neurovirus ready. Beginning link. The lights flickered. Outside. The device began to cool. And then silence. The Omega device was shut down. Earth had done it. When Tovak saw the failure, he screamed in rage. His empire was broken. His fleet defeated. And now, his super weapon, useless. But before he could give another order, his own guards entered the throne room and pointed weapons at him. For the good of our people. One said, we surrender. Days later, peace talks began. Earth sat at the head of the table, but not as rulers, as protectors. Alira stood before the galaxy. We never wanted war, she said. But we will never allow cruelty to rise again. From now on, no planet stands alone. The Council agreed to form the United Star Alliance. With Earth as its founding member, new laws were created. Weapons of mass destruction were banned. And instead of fear, planets began to speak of hope. Back on Earth, Danil Ward looked out at the stars from the same balcony he always visited. Zern joined him. Did we do the right thing? Zern asked. Danil nodded slowly. We showed the truth. That's what matters. But what if someone else rises, like the Viscari? Danil smiled faintly. Then they'll remember what happened. They'll remember Earth. Zern looked up at the sky. You know, I used to think your people were small, weak. Now, I understand. You were quiet not because you were afraid, but because you were wise. Danil looked at him and replied, sometimes the strongest ones are the ones who don't speak until it's time. Across the galaxy, the name Earth became a symbol, not of war, but of strength with purpose, patience with power, and a lesson: never underestimate the quiet ones, because when they rise, The galaxy listens and remembers. The end.